Welcome to World Traveler Cooking, where we cover interesting foods and interesting cuisines from around the world. Today we're going to make a cold soup from Andalusia called Salmorejo. Now, Salmorejo is a cold tomato soup. You're probably thinking gazpacho, but it's quite different. We're going to use 1 kilogram of tomatoes today, 200 grams of bread, a clove of garlic, and 150 milliliters of olive oil. And those are the entire ingredients. So this will actually be really quick as far as the video goes, but keep in mind there are points here where you have to wait for about 10 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I do is I cut the tomatoes up a bit, and because it's Indonesia, they don't ripen quite the same way, so I'm not going to worry about these green spots, otherwise I probably would. And then I'm just going to use this immersion blender and I'm going to puree the whole thing. Then, very oftentimes, people will run it through a sieve. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet, but that's where we'll go. So I've cut my bread into pieces. Probably smaller might have been a little better. And I've decided that I will run this through a sieve. So let's see how well this goes. And I'll pass this through a sieve, I'll scrape the rest of this out, and then I'll be back once this is through to show you the next step. Okay, so now that everything's through the sieve, I'm just going to stir it up so that all the bread is coated, and then we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes before we blend it up again. I'm also going to add my garlic on top at this point, just so I don't forget. And I will be back in 10 minutes. So normally this would be served with Spanish ham, but being in Indonesia, my options there are rather limited, so I've just added a little salt to compensate. But you're going to notice that this is suddenly a lot less soupy, and now I'm going to blend it up again. And then now, once this is super smooth, we're going to start emulsifying in our olive oil. So I'll be back when this is done. So once this is done, you'll see the difference in color is that it goes from being sort of pink to being this almost, reddish orange. And it's now really thick. So I'm going to serve just a little for a taste test. And I'm going to top this with some eggs. Normally, of course, in Spain this would also be topped with Spanish ham. But if you're vegetarian or you can't get Spanish ham, then of course add a bit of salt to the soup and serve it with just the eggs. And here is our salmorejo. And now for the taste test. I can't underemphasize how different this is from gazpacho. The texture, the flavor, everything's totally different, even though they're nominally both cold soups with bread and tomato, and some olive oil. This is thick and creamy, and it's almost as much of an olive oil soup as it is a tomato soup. It's really delightful. But I would almost say that the soup is somewhere between a soup and a sauce, so just be aware. Now, I think this is delicious. I'd recommend that you try it. I really wish I had some Spanish ham to go with this because I think it'd be amazing. But even without it, it's still quite an amazing dish. So, if you like this content, you'd like to see more of it, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have anything to say about this video, I'd love to hear from you. Recipes in the description if you're watching on YouTube or Patreon. Bon appetit, and see you next week.